G'day YouTube, NecroarcanistXIII here with another edition of Necro Reads Strange Unsolved Mysteries by Margaret Ronan. Now I apologise for delayed uploads. I was using Audacity to pre-record these, but for some reason it was not working properly. Pieces of data would go missing from recordings, and so whole seconds of audio were not showing up at all, and it was very weird to have just a normal sentence suddenly skip into the next one. And I reckon it has something to do with the way Audacity saves backup data in case of crash, and it somehow managed to fill up what little gigabyte remained of my computer space, and so that meant it was unable to save any future recorded audio. And so instead I'm going to try and use my camera on my laptop, because even though it saves in a much higher file size, it doesn't save background data at the same time. So while the final edit will be much larger, it's actually like 60% of the amount of data I will need to record anyway. And to prevent any corruptions with Necro Reads, I'm only going to do one segment at a time instead of 3 segments at a time in one video. So instead of doing one video with 3 chapters of the book, I'll upload 3 chapters individually throughout the day, and I will try to record as many as I possibly can and then upload them in as short amount of time as possible. It's currently the 6th of October at the time of recording. I don't know when these will be uploaded, but I'll make sure I'm back on track. But at the moment it's getting very warm here on the west coast of Tasmania, and given that it's the weekend, I actually have work days at local deli, like deli cafe, so I have a lack of energy because I'm a bit exhausted and my sleep pattern's a bit off. But I'm also, at the same time, I'm also trying to sort my capture card to resume my old Let's Play of Constantine, which I put on hiatus last year because I was moving house. And I'm trying to sort a massive Minecraft build for NecroarcanistXIII 2018. So that'll be something interesting. And if you hear any weird clicks in the audio, I'm sorry, that will be me making noises. I've been drinking a fair bit of liquids, and so I'm drooling a fair bit. But anyway, shit, I just knocked my juice off the bloody table. It's in a bottle, don't worry. But anyway, let's just try and get this over with Necro Reads Strange Unsolved Mysteries, Chapter 3, The Mystery of the Empty House. A haze of heat lay over the Austrian hills outside Vienna on that July day in 1908. But Hans Peter Storer and his wife Therese scarcely seemed to notice the humid weather. They were excitedly and hopefully hunting for a house of their own. For 2 years the young couple had been forced to share the cramped apartment of Therese's parents, but now at last they had saved enough money to buy their own home. Seated beside her husband in their open car, Therese's eyes searched the streets of every village through which they passed. Perhaps here would be the place they had dreamed about. Suddenly Therese clutched her husband's arm. "Look," she said, "a for sale sign. Over there, to the left, up the lane. I can see it through the trees." Hans Peter turned the car around and started up the lane, and sure enough there was the sign, and beyond it on a little hill, the house. As he brought the car to a stop in front of the entrance, it was plain to the young couple that the house had been empty for a long time. The garden was choked with weeds, grass had sprouted in the driveway, the bricks of the house's walls were flaking, and the paint on the window frames and door was peeling. "Look," said Therese in astonishment. "Someone is home." The curtain on that window moved. Whoever it is saw us drive up. Hurriedly, the young people got out of the car and knocked on the door. They could hear the echoes of the knocker resounding inside, but no one came. "I must have been mistaken," Therese said, "but look through this window, you can see furniture inside." Hans Peter banged on the knocker again. "If the owners have left furniture, they must have also left a caretaker," he said firmly. His knocking went unanswered. Angrily, he tried the door and found it unlocked. At his push, it swung open. The young couple stepped inside and stood transfixed with astonishment. The furniture and curtains they had seen through the window were thickly covered with dust and cobwebs. In the dining room, a table had been set out for a meal long ago, a meal that had only now been partially eaten by rats. In the kitchen and pantry, food was laid out. Some of it was coated with mould, while some had crumbled into dust. Therese felt a stirring of panic. "I wanted to leave," she recalled later, but Hans Peter was determined to see older rooms. He half dragged me from floor to floor, but we found no one and nothing but dusty furniture. But when we returned to the ground floor, he stopped and pointed at the end of the gloomy corridor. "We missed that room," he said. "Perhaps the caretaker's hiding there." He opened the big double doors to the room and we saw them. There were people in there, a man, a woman and 2 children. They were just sitting in chairs by the fireplace, looking at us. I could see that their clothes were very old-fashioned, like those of the 1880s. We just stood there, too astonished to move. The eyes of those 4 were the saddest I have ever seen. The look exchanged by the storers and the 4 strangers lasted only a few minutes. Then, like a slow dissolve in a movie, the 4 faded away and vanished. The storers also vanished by running out of the house as fast as they could. Back in Vienna, they told their friends about their strange experience. One friend urged them to return to the village. "Ghosts always have a reason for coming back," they said. "I think you should find out as much as you can about the history of the house." Therese refused to go, but Hans Peter took his friend's advice and drove back to the village some weeks later. Realizing that the man most likely to know about the village would be the postmaster, he went directly to the post office. "The house on the hill," asked the postmaster. "It has been for sale for a long time now, but I doubt anyone will ever buy it. No one has wanted to live there since the owner killed his wife and 2 children. Afterwards he shot himself. It was in the newspapers. I still have a copy of it." The postmaster opened a drawer and drew out a yellowed newspaper. "Family tragedy," bled the headline, "murder and suicide." But Hans Peter needed to read no further. He was staring at a photograph beside the headline. A photograph of the 4 people he and Therese had seen in the empty house. That is it for chapter 3. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'm sorry if I sound a bit weird. As I said, it's getting pretty warm. My mouth is drying out while getting a bit drooly because that's just how it is when it gets really hot in Tasmania. Drink and you drink and you drink and you still dry out. Anyway, I'll try to get as many chapters as I can out in as little time as possible to catch up with my schedule, so that I can record some gameplay stuff for Halloween. But until next time, this is NecroarcanistXIII signing off. Good night YouTube, and stay classy.